Good morning and welcome. Here are developing stories. The early rains in Ondo State have sparked fresh worries, especially in communities prone to flooding and erosion. As climate patterns grow increasingly unpredictable, the concern is no longer just about rainfall, but about preparedness. Residents are being urged to take proactive measures to prevent avoidable disasters that often follow the first downpour of the season. Our correspondent Sunday Adeyanju reports.
For many residents of Ondo State, the first rains of the year no longer bring relief alone, they bring worry. Across communities, especially in vulnerable areas, the sound of heavy rainfall now signals a familiar threat, erosions carving through streets, floodwaters invading homes, and farmlands submerged beneath muddy currents. Experts say the triggers are not far-fetched: blocked drainage systems, indiscriminate waste disposal, and construction along natural waterways continue to worsen the impact of heavy downpour.
Residents around this area are always disturbed when it rains, and it is in the night that wastes are dumped here.
When they know that rain is about to come, they just rush out with their waste, put it in the drainage. Sometimes the rain will not even fall. At other times when it falls, it will just go down to the canal. At the stage, the whole place will be blocked.
When gutters are filled with refuse and silt, stormwater loses its path, forcing it to create new and often destructive routes through residential neighborhoods. A visit to Usho in our local government area revealed drainage channels are in dire condition. Some are cracked and damaged, others are completely clogged with sand and debris. In certain areas, erosions has already begun to eat into access roads, raising fears about what could happen when the rains intensify. Residents say they are living in uncertainty.
This place is a very tough place during the rainy season. First and foremost, this place is somehow low. When there is still the bridge is over flooded. So I think the community, the government should do something about the raining.
Ondo State has witnessed painful episodes in recent years. In Akure, flash floods have destroyed roads and damaged properties, while in rural communities, farmlands have been washed away, displacing families and disrupting livelihoods. The memories remain fresh: collapsed buildings, impassable roads, and communities cut off by floodwaters. Traditional authorities in Usho say the warning signs are already visible. The Olusho of Usho, Oba Ademola Adebiyi, appealed to the Ondo State government to urgently intervene before the situation spirals out of control. He emphasized that clearing and reconstructing damaged drainage channels will significantly reduce the risk of flooding and safeguard lives and property.
Actually, we are talking about rainy season. It's God that is normally doing, and we don't have control over the weather. And the only area that we are so concerned is about the flooding that we normally experience annually in our community, and which has devastated a lot of our township roads and other residential areas. And we are trusting God this year that probably we have an intervention from the government that will also help us to dredge the water channel in order not to affect some of the buildings and also people that are applying the road within the community. It has been a very long time issues that we have been battling with, but we are seeking for the help through Mr. Governor to the office of the SA on erosion and technical EU, that they will intervene and help us.
Responding to these concerns, the technical advisor to the governor on erosion and flood control matters, Elisha Ebijimi, noted that efforts are ongoing to mitigate flooding across the state. According to him, erosion control projects are currently underway in Ondo Town, with plans to extend to Akure North and subsequently to Usho. He assured residents that all 18 local government areas will be closely monitored this year, particularly in light of the early rains.
I have promised the good people of Usho and the KBC that by ending of March, I'm going to commence Usho assignments. I've been trying his best on flood control since he assuming office, and he's still going to try more, because early this year he has sent me out to go and start another operation, and by special grace of God, I'm going to brief him about issue community.
Beyond government intervention, environmental experts insist that flood prevention is a shared responsibility, from proper waste disposal to community-led drainage clearing exercises. Collective actions could make the difference between manageable rainfall and avoidable disaster. As the rainy season gradually gathers momentum, one message rings clear across Ondo State: preparation today may prevent devastation tomorrow. Sunday at Deyonjun for Osrc Social and Community News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has returned to Abuja after representing President Bola Tinubu at the 59th ordinary session of the Assembly of African Union, AU heads of state and government, and the 30th AU General Assembly held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Shettima participated in the summit between February 14 and 15, 2026, with the theme "Assuring Sustainable Water Availability and Safe Sanitation Systems to Achieve the Goals of Agenda 2063. The conference focused on advancing continental commitment towards sustainable water management, improved sanitation systems, and the broader development aspiration of the AU's Agenda 2063 framework. Beyond the heads of the state meetings, the Vice President took part in high-level side events and held bilateral engagements with political and business leaders aimed at strengthening Nigeria's diplomatic, economic, and strategic partnerships across the continent. The National Assembly is expected to reconvene its plenary session tomorrow, February 17, cutting short its recess amid indications that lawmakers may review the date set for the 2027 presidential election. In a notice by the clerk of the National Assembly, Kamoru Ogunlano, senators and members of the House of Representatives have been directed to resume sitting and adjust their schedules accordingly, as crucial decisions are expected to be taken during the session. The development comes barely a week after the Senate, bowing to public pressure, approved the electronic transmission of each result to the Independent National Electoral Commission's result viewing portal, while retaining manual collation as a backup in areas where technology may fail. With plenary set to resume, lawmakers are expected to continue deliberations on pending bills, committee reports, and other legislative matters, including further work on the Electoral Act amendment and related reforms ahead of the 2027 polls. Meanwhile, the Joint National Assembly Conference Committee, constituted to reconcile differences in the Electoral Amendment Bill passed separately by the Senate and the House of Representatives, is expected to meet today. Nigeria and Angola have signed a visa exemption agreement for holders of diplomatic and official service passports. The agreement was signed on the sidelines of the 39th ordinary session of the heads of state and government of the African Union in Addis Ababa. Speaking at the signing ceremony, Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Toga described the agreement a long-awaited milestone that would deepen cooperation between the two countries. He said the signing was aimed at strengthening bilateral relations and easing official travel between both nations. Toga explained that the visa exemption would enable holders of diplomatic and official service passports to travel more freely between the two countries. The federal government has directed all ministries, departments, and agencies to enforce the 8-year tenure limit for directors and permanent secretaries, following a new deadline set through the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation. Former Head of Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieson, had announced the commencement of the revised Public Service Rules (PSR) in July 2023. According to the revised PSR, the tenure limit for permanent secretaries is 4 years, with a possible renewal based only on satisfactory performance. The rules also stipulate that a director or its equivalent shall compulsorily retire after 8 years in that position. Reports have it that some MDAs implemented the rules immediately, while others failed to do so. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning.
Go.